Hola, hola, bem-vindos from Portugal. We are here speaking Portuguese because we are in Portugal, the region of Algarve. Beautiful days, sunny days here, beautiful weekend to enjoy this round of EUROCUP-3. So in few seconds, we will enjoy this race here in Portugal. We are in the circuit of Portimao. It's a little bit windy, but a little bit sunny. It's perfect weather to enjoy this amazing race. Now we are here with Jake Sanson, our commentator, to share, to discuss this beautiful race today here. In the first position is the first position ever in his career. Is for the German guy, is Klus. Yes, is he. He will be in the first position now. So, Jake, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And I think pleasantly surprised, as we all are, that the pole position goes to the young German talent, Valentin Klus. Really exciting to see what he can come up with on the goods of this one. We've actually got some breaking news, thanks to the live feed. We've got a real problem for Emile de Hurst, who on the rolling lap coming to the grid has actually broken down, Enzo. So that's a real problem for Emile de Hurst. Maybe we can grab some information from one of the GRS team USA guys. I'm not sure if we've got time to do that or not, but certainly for Emile de Hurst, who of course is backed by the Red Bull Foundation, Red Bull organization, broken down on the formation lap. So we've had drama before we've even got the cars to the grid. That's really unfortunate. But yeah, to come back to what you were saying, Valentin Klus and Christian Ho on the front row of the grid. This is the first time really that the Campos racing team have had the upper hand on the boys at MP Motorsport. So it shows that the championship is really starting to come alive now. It looks like it's going to be a really exciting couple of races for EUROCUP-3 today.
The pole sitters in the first position, Klus is the German guy. He was really emotional when we spoke with him after the the qualifying. So for him will be really a challenge to race this first opportunity to be in the first pole position ever in his career. So we are waiting. No wet tires in team. So no finally rain in the Portimao circuit, Jake. It's good news to enjoy and to develop the command, you know, because the other races, for example, yesterday, the teams was preparing, you know, the wet tires, but not now, only dry. And if the information from the team of Cluj, the tires will be, I think, completely new for this race. So full energy and full stuff for this opportunity for the German guy to be in the P1. And this is the guy.
Yeah, very exciting from Valentin Klus, and great to see him in such a prominent position. This is a big moment for the German star. He really gets to have a run up at the front end of the field. Look at that, a nice handshake coming in from his opponent off the start. Great to see that there's a lot of camaraderie in this paddock between the drivers in EuroCup-3 as well as in Spanish F4. So it's great to see everybody really motivating and pushing each other forward. I have a feeling that was James Igozzi coming over and wishing his fellow Campos Racing driver well. If not, that was Enzo Tarnva-Nitschkul, who had just come out of the F4 Spanish Championship race. There's a real team atmosphere, a really nice environment within all of these cars. Christian Ho, who became a race winner yesterday for the first time in EuroCup-3, second on the starting grid. The latest news is that we think it's an electronics issue that's held up Amélie de Geus of the GRS Team USA squad. That is devastatingly unlucky for her, considering that she was looking good for another exciting battle out on the course, and she acquitted herself very well yesterday. I think we're actually a little bit rushed off our feet here for the start of this one. I'm not sure we'll get the chance to have a word with Valentin Klus before the start of the race, but if we are able to, we'll obviously make sure that happens. Owen Tangavelu, we saw the Vietnamese driver there, third position on the grid for MP Motorsport. Fourth place is Noah Lyle for Campos Racing. So the early dominance of the MP Motorsport team, very much not the case in this particular qualifying session going into the race. There is Noah Lyle, the Australian, fourth on the grid for Campos Racing, and it's Campos, MP Campos in the first four positions of the grid, which is very unusual actually for this season. It's been one-way traffic for MP Motorsport all the way coming into this round of the championship, and yesterday's race was actually the first time that a team other than MP Motorsport had won a EuroCup-3 race in 2024, and that's including the non-championship winter round that we had at Motorland Aragon back in March. So fascinating to see that now we come to Portimao and Campos Racing have found their feet. They're really starting to push forward now, and it looks as though we're going to get a victorious moment from the Campos Racing team again here, either through Valentin Klus, Christian Ho or Noah Lyle. Fifth position on the grid is Emo Fittipaldi Jr., still trying to uphold the honour for the MP Motorsport team. Alexander Abgasava for Santalok Racing finds himself in sixth position. Then we've got an all Campos Racing fourth row of the grid, Michael Shin of Korea, alongside the Moroccan talent Suleiman Zanfari. And then we have Javier Stiglera all the way back in ninth on the grid for the MP Motorsport team. 10th on the starting grid is Jose Garfias of the Santalok team, the Mexican in P10. Then it is Nicolas Solov for the GRS Team USA squad. And then we have Bruno Del Pino, who is the new championship leader, of course, going into this race. He only leads the championship by 3 points to Segrera and Tangavelu. So it's definitely going to be another tough race then for the MP Motorsport team after yesterday. Tangavelu starting third, Segrera starting ninth, and Del Pino starting 12th. So it's definitely going to be a mixed bag of a race this time. Could see quite a few drivers in positions we are not used to seeing them in at all. 13th on the grid, Dario Cabanelas alongside Joao Diaz. And then we have the Drivex team drivers on the 8th row of the grid, Nick Chiltz and Daniel Nogales together. Palou Motorsport drivers Luciano Morano and Theodor Jensen are together on the 9th row. Then Diego de la Torre and Garrett Berry, Isaac Barashi, Gaspard Lagaye, and then Georgi Zhadavsky and Victoria Blokina. We should have very much at the back of the field Amélie de Geus, but unfortunately a mechanical problem has taken her out of the race before the start. And I have to say that's probably the reason why she was at the back of the grid anyway, because they had a fresh qualifying session this morning. And if she had problems in qualifying, then it's not a massive surprise to see that those problems have rematerialised and taken her out of the start of this one. Very unfortunate as well, because last time out of the Red Bull ring, Amélie de Geus was actually a very prominent driver in the midfield, did a great job working her way through the field. So very difficult situation for all of the contenders out there. Well, interesting couple of questions coming in. Damian Villagrasa says, well, if Emily is out, tell me who I should support. Well, I think it's very much dependent on whether you vote for your drivers based on personality or whether you vote for them based on their potential F1 credentials, whether you vote for them based on their nationality. It's a very interesting call, but there's several drivers out there that are worth picking up on for sure, Damien. I don't think you have to worry too much about having a fantastic driver to support. He says he's Spanish. Well, then you've got plenty of talent on this grid to support. You could even go for a Mexican or two in the EUROCUP-3 grid if you really wanted to. But there's Bruno Del Pino starting P12, Javier Segreira starting P9 for the Spanish contingent. And then, of course, there is the Mexican talent Jose Garfias, who is in that top 10 run as well. You could also give a bit of a shout out to Diego de la Torre if you wanted to, just in the midst of that midfield battle as well. So I'm sure you've got plenty of people to look out for. So the EUROCUP-3 cars working their way through. Same chassis, of course, as the Formula Regional car, this, the Tartus F3 T318 with its Auto Technica developed Alfa Romeo engine. The only difference is that it has an updated body kit compared to the Formula Regional car. It has a different intercooler. It has a very separate battery kit. It's also 25 kilograms lighter than the Formula Regional car, so it really is a good step up to work your way forward in a single-seater career journey. It's also significantly more financially affordable for a lot of the drivers taking part. So it definitely assists drivers in their work up the ranks, and it's become very popular very quickly. We had a very competitive season in EuroCup-3 in the 2023 campaign. It was very much about the exciting battles that we had throughout the midst of the single-seater battle. Esteban Masso, of course, becoming champion last year with the Campos Racing team picking up the team's title, and Bruno Del Pino become the rookies champion. The maximum budget of 400,000 euros per season definitely makes the championship a little bit more affordable than some of its similar counterparts. But it's definitely going to be an exciting situation for all of the contenders. And of course, a push-to-pass system was used during the first season of an extra 25 brake horsepower. I'm fairly sure that has remained for the 2024 season. I certainly haven't been told that it hasn't, so I'm assuming the regulations on that front are still exactly the same. But it's 30 minutes plus 1 lap. And here this weekend at EuroCup-3, we're going to have a very different style of race, because we're going to have a third race start this weekend. We should have had only 2, but because one of the races at SPA-FRANCORCHAMPS in Belgium was cancelled, that race is now being run this afternoon in the EuroCup-3 paddock. So it'll be fascinating to see us having 2 very different races to battle in with. Now, Tangavelu has got a big mission here to spoil the Campos Racing front row. Emo Fittipaldi Jr. will be pushing for that as well from 5th position on the grid. And watch out for Alexander Abgasava. I think a lot of people were not expecting him to be the best of the rest, if you like, outside the Campos and MP fraternities. But he has got there on merit. A very talented young man, Alexander Abgasava, all the way from Kazakhstan, and doing an excellent job to continue working his way further forward. There is another Santalok in the top 10. That is Jose Garfias. So the last 2 drivers, Georgi Shadowski and Victoria Blokina, make their way to their positions on the grid. I think Finley Green is down there as well, actually, in position. So we are getting ourselves ready for the start, and we're racing at Portimao. Valentin Klus gets a good start, so too does Christian Ho. In fact, Christian Ho may have got a slightly better start. Noah Lyle going wheel to wheel with Tangavelu, and it is going to be Christian Ho that takes the lead into turn 1. Nothing Valentin Klus can do about that. So the Singaporean Christian Ho works his way through into the lead. A fabulous start, and here comes Tangavelu from Vietnam, dives his way through on the inside and gets past Valentin Klus as well. Well, fantastic stuff and a great start to proceedings already. So a really exciting start and excellent stuff from Christian Ho. So he has got himself into the lead of the race off the start. Is everybody going to keep it together through the first couple of corners? We obviously had a very chaotic race in Spanish F4. Certainly not a bad start to the racing in EuroCup-3, as now Tangavelu through in 3rd position, and there's a big fight going on for 3rd. It's getting pretty hectic out there, it has to be said, as we've got Klus, Lyle, Shin and Abgasava all wanting to get themselves onto the rostrum. So they are having a spectacular battle for it at this precise moment in time. Excellent work for all of the drivers as Christian Ho, the Singaporean, leads the way here from Owen Tangavelu and Valentin Close. And there's contact further back. That's one of the Santalocks going airborne slightly. I think that's Jose Garfias, the Mexican, trying to work his way through on the inside there of Michael Shin. But Garfias and Abkasava having a great race of it. That might actually be Abkasava behind Jose Garfias, the Mexican, having a terrific start. And somehow, despite a little bit of contact, they have kept it flowing. So Christian Ho leads the way, and he's actually broken clear of Owen Tangavelo to the tune of a second as the rest of the field battles its way up over the top of the crest. From the Infinity Miami Series Asia through to the European karting scene, and now here in EuroCup-3, Christian Ho really is setting the world on fire, the Singaporean. Up to the inside comes the MP, going wheel to wheel with the Santalock. So that is Bruno Del Pino making his bid on Alex Abkasava, and he gets through. Good work from the Spaniard. That puts him into 7th position as the MB trio behind them having an exotic race. That's Cabanillas, Fittipaldi and Segreira, all having a very tough race. Javier Segreira having a miserable start to his race, dropping from 9th on the grid to 12th. It's almost as if Bruno Del Pino and Segreira have essentially swapped fortunes. Now Segreira gets his run on the inside of Fittipaldi, hopefully to finish off the move cleanly, as a couple of drivers run deep further back. Let's have a look at the start again. Valentin Close gets a good start. Only a tiny bit of wheel spin, but it's a perfect launch from Christian Ho, and that's enough to put him into the lead of the race quite comfortably by the time they get through first corner. Tangavelu looking very hungry on the way through that first couple of corners, and it was into turn 3 he decided, right, I've got a car underneath me that's worthy of my talents. I can zip through. How close was that for Alex Abkasava, going airborne as Jose Garfias races closely with Michael Shin in the Campos. So far, so good. Christian Ho leads the way. Tangavelu of Vietnam in second. Then Klus, Lyle, Shin, Garfias, Del Pino, Abkasava, Zanfari and Dario Cabanillas. So already some good battles raging around the course here. I'm told that Segreira wasn't able to finish the move on Emma Fittipaldi Jr. So Christian Ho, after struggling at Spa and then not really achieving what he was supposed to do at the Red Bull Ring, he has bounced back and retaliated with verve and vigour. Second in the Spanish F4 Championship last year, and now stepping up to EuroCup-3. He means business in this championship fight, and what a way to retaliate after 2 difficult weekends. Now he is the man on form here in Portimao. 1.2 seconds is the gap between the two drivers. The fastest lap of the race comes in now, ironically enough, from Valentin Close, who struggled off the start and now finds himself in 3rd place. Now we look like we're going to see a pure motor race, because at the moment we've gone through to the 3rd lap and we do not have a safety car as yet. Touch wood. Make sure you do that. Make sure you don't curse it, don't jinx it. And Damian Villagracia is very right to think that EuroCup-3 gives super license points. Oh, well, I did speak too soon then. That is Victoria Blochina, the other lady in the field for the Drivex team. It looks as though there's damage to the left rear of the car, and she's beached. How did that happen? Oh, my goodness. Big incident with what looks like her teammate. I think she was trying to make the move there, or at least Nick Gilks, I think, was trying to get through on the inside line and has just pitched Victoria Blochina's car around. Now, that's quite a long way in. That's gone into the gravel trap. I don't know whether that's worthy of a safety car or whether that's just going to be a yellow flag, because that is quite a long way into the corner. Certainly no sign of a safety car yet. So Christian, there it is. Well, safety car does get called in the end then. They had to make a quick decision because the drivers were coming around to complete the lap. Well, it is inevitable in the junior single-seater ladder. You've got a lot of drivers who are very motivated, very determined. They want to work their way through, and they'll take risks. They'll make a big gamble. There's no point hurling insults at drivers saying that the racing isn't as fluid and frenetic as you would like it to be. I think just be grateful that you've got so many great talents working their way up the ladder. Safety cars are inevitable in the junior ladder. There's nothing you can do about that. Drivers want to make overtakes. They want to work their way forward. And you've got to remember that these guys are between the ages of 15 in Formula 4 and they're in their late teens in EuroCup-3. They're always going to have moments. They're always going to have mistakes. I think you can very easily say, though, that for Victoria Blochina, that incident was not her fault at all. Off we go, down to the start again to replay the perfect ignition and launch forward for Christian Ho, getting through past Valentin Close at the start of an epic race. A non-start, by the way, for not just Amelia Hurst, but also Finley Green. I wonder if there's been mechanical problems with that Santalok racing car, or whether there's more after effects of his early season appendicitis, as there is a very unfortunate Victoria Blockina, and it is Nick Gilks that had a bit of a problem there in the first sector, going through slowly. So I can only assume that Nick Gilks was the driver involved in trying to make the move on Victoria Blockina, and rather sadly taking his teammate out of the race. There's one golden rule in motorsport: you can race each other fairly, you can have a great battle, but whatever you do, don't hit your teammate. And I'm afraid Nick Gilks has rather unfortunately committed the cardinal sin. So a very difficult problem then for the two drivers. So Nick Gilks then making the move on the inside line. I love the fact that everybody has essentially said, well, you know, they say the commentator curse is not a thing. And then I said, so far we've had a green start, and then Gilks goes into the side of Victoria Blockina. Yes, of course, it's the curse of the commentator. I tell you what, I'll say I'm going to win the lottery this evening. We'll see if that one comes to pass, shall we? Oh, dear. Yeah, fair play to the comments. He said, I was a bit scared to be too critical of the F4 race previously, and Jake just said, okay, we're going to see a pure motor race. Yeah, I get you. But it is single-seater racing. These guys are motivated. They are determined. And you've got to remember that mistakes will occur. Drivers will push the limit. They will get it wrong. But I would love to see if you would get it right in the same circumstances. These guys are doing a fantastic job. They don't always get it right. In fact, even Formula One drivers don't always get it right. Let's see how the race is going to play out. They've got a little bit of housekeeping to do at the Drivex team now, and that's going to be a little bit awkward because the safety car initially was instigated by Nick Gilks driving into the side of his teammate Victoria Blockina. So excellent stuff. Great support from Lewis McGlade, who is a very prominent commentator in the world of motorsport as well. He's actually the voice of Formula E on TalkSport. He says, as a commentator, I can confirm the curse of the commentator doesn't exist. If it did, Lewis, we could say we're going to win the lottery tonight. We're that fortuitous, and we'd both be billionaires, and it hasn't happened yet, so I don't believe in it either. Christian Ho and Owen Tagovailoa going to be battling on this restart then, with Valentin Klus, the pole sitter, ahead of his teammates Noah Lyle and Michael Shintz. Safety car this lap. Okay, so we're going to go back to green flag conditions at the end of this one. Jose Garfias, Bruna Del Pino, Alex Abkasava, Suleiman Zanfari and Dario Cabanillas are the current final point scorers. This is a tough race ahead now for Javier Segrera. A brilliant start to the race for Bruna Del Pino, considering he was going to start and started all the way back in 12th. To now work his way up to 7th is very admirable indeed. So let's see how it all goes on the run through. So an interesting battle for all of the contenders as they work their way up the climb and on the crest. This could be an interesting restart. What will Christian Ho do? When will he drop the hammer? Will he leave it late, or will he try and get it going? Let's see how he is going to get this run forward. On the turn, Christian Ho just needs to time it right in front of Owen Tagovailoa, but these are two very talented racing drivers from nations in Asia with not a lot of motor racing pedigree yet, but you get the feeling that Christian Ho and Owen Tagovailoa are very much going to lead the trend. Look at how late Christian Ho is leaving this restart. He can choose when to go. It's totally up to him. Now he's gone for it. And it looks as though he's timed it perfectly, because Owen Tagovailoa has got a little bit of time to make up, and you're going to see a real charge forward now from Valentin Klus and Noah Lyle. They come up over the top of the crest. It's green, 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 green here at Portimao. And we're going to have a fascinating charge forward to the first corner. Looks as though Klus is going to have pressure from his teammate Noah Lyle. Lyle is going to try and go right round the outside to get into third place. That's going to be brave. Will Klus give him the space to do so? These drivers have got to work for it. Oh, and there's a run wide further back. That's one of the... I think that's one of the MPs going out wide and losing a little bit of ground. Oh, and off the road goes one of the Santalok. Oh my goodness, it looked like a broken steering rack because they were turning through the right-hander, and then all of a sudden the car just veered off to the left, unable to steer, and already in acceleration mode. So that's a bitter disappointment. That looks like Jose Garfias is in the wall. Oh, bitter disappointment for Jose Garfias. No, it's not. It's Alex Abkasava. My apologies. So the talented Kazakhstani, Alex Abkasava, who qualified so brilliantly up into P6, and he's gone clean off the road. Safety car is called again. Wow. Very difficult indeed to call what happened there. Just looked as though there was a slightest love tap on the right front. And the problem is you're already steering quite acutely through that third corner, and you're on the throttle accelerating forward. So once the car is on that turn and lock, if it snaps the steering arm at that point, let's have a look at it. This is the restart from Christian Ho. Absolutely perfect, by the way. Tangavelu gets away clear. Here, let's have a look at it. Bang, there it is. Look, it's side by side. Don't tell me that was with his teammate. It was. It was with Jose Garfias. So the teammates again collide. So there's more problems for Drivex, whereas the two teammates hit each other, but Santalok have got some housekeeping to do now as well, by the look of it. But it looks to me as though the two very ambitious drivers, Jose Garfias and Alexander Abkasava, have now collided with each other. My goodness me. Not what he wanted. And that was a very scary incident, actually, for Alex Abkasava. Because when you're on the full opposite lock and you're back on the throttle, you're accelerating quite quickly in these cars. Don't forget that these cars are pretty rapid, 270 brake horsepower. Once you get back on the throttle, it is a quick little mover, this car. And they're 25 kilograms lighter than the Formula Regional machines, so they are quite nippy out of the bends. And once you're on full lock going through on the throttle, once that steering arm breaks, you are veering to the left and there's nothing you can do. He's actually quite lucky that the tyre wall was as far back as it was on that particular corner, because it definitely depreciated some of the accident. He's able to walk away from the car, so no injury by the look of it, but certainly a big headache as far as Alex Abkasava's title aspirations are concerned. Tamagox J points out Nikola Solov has gone from Formula 3 race winner to 13th in EuroCup-3. It's not been the easiest weekend so far for the Bulgarian, that is for sure. Currently 12th, of course, as a result of Alex Abkasava's swift exit stage left. But yeah, it's not been the easiest situation for Nikola Solov. Obviously, you want to try and race as many events as you possibly can to work your way up the ladder. But just because you win in one category doesn't mean you're going to win in another. So the front wing deposited from Alex Abkasava's car as the marshals now go to work. They've got a little bit of time to do so. But that's a very awkward position for that car to be in. Let's watch again. Bang! Rear wheels connect. And there's nothing Alex Abkasava can do. Fortunately, the sand trap did actually slow the car down fairly rapidly. But obviously, he couldn't steer, so he was always going on a one-way trip to the gravel and a one-way trip to the barrier. So very difficult situation to describe. And Rory is absolutely right on YouTube. Looks like a few teams are going to have words with their drivers before the next race. What's the cardinal rule? What's the main point of focus within these teams? You can race hard, you can race firm, you can race fair, but do not hit your teammate. Paul Wood Thomas is having F4 Spanish Championship flashbacks right now. I do understand. It's not exactly the easiest situation on a circuit like this. I think it doesn't help that this is a fantastic circuit, Portimao, with a lot of wide open spaces, then suddenly going down to a tighter apex. It's very wide on the straights and on some of the faster flowing apexes. And then it just suddenly goes from a 7-lane racetrack to a 4-lane racetrack very, very rapidly. And that tightening and that pincer movement doesn't really lend itself to running wheel to wheel very avidly, especially if you're going 2 or 3 wide into a corner. So very tough stuff indeed from the competitors as they get themselves ready for a run. Now, you can see the drivers are veering towards the right-hand side. They want to make sure they're well away from any debris. The last thing you want is to pick up a puncture by running the racing line behind the safety car and picking up a little bit of gravel on the tyre. So some interesting situations then for the competitors. This certainly helps out Christian Ho in the lead of the race, because that gives you fewer racing laps to run on this compound of tyres. So that will make things a little bit easier. There is Alex Abkasava getting a lift back to the pits. That's definitely not the way he wanted to go back to pit lane. So as everybody gets themselves ready for a restart, are we going to get that restart on this particular lap? Because they're still working on that particular car stuck in the barrier, because it's not in an easy position. And of course, with the driver having got away from it, it looks like it's going to have to be a crane on the back of a low loader job. Safety car still out, so I think it's going to be at least another lap behind the Mercedes CLA. So let's talk you through the lineup and the running order, as we have now got 13 minutes and 23 seconds, plus the additional lap to run in the remainder of this race. Christian Ho leading, Owen Tangabelu second. Fastest lap of the race so far has come from Valentin Klus. He's done a 1:40.04. Noah Lal in fourth position in front of his teammate Michael Shin. Then Jose Garfias, who no doubt is going to be investigated after the race. Indeed he is. Oh, that's interesting. Incident involving car 2 at turn 5 will be investigated at the end of the race. I think that's a misprint, actually, because they have mentioned one number of car but not the other. Now they're going to clarify. So interestingly, there is an incident involving cars 2 and 25 at turn 5 that will be investigated at the end of the race. That's Noah Lyle and Joao Diaz. Well, I didn't see an incident between the two of them, but clearly they feel that there's an incident that does need to be investigated after the race. Noah Lyle currently P4 and Joao Diaz in P15. So that is interesting. There's also an incident involving car number 10 that needs to be investigated at the end of the race at turn 5, and that is Luciano Morano. So again, he's not at the sharp end of the field. He's in 17th at the moment behind Joao Diaz and Garrett Berry. So that's interesting. Clearly something we didn't know went on that needs to be looked into. So let's go through the order, and we're going to get that done, hopefully before the safety car peels in. Christian Ho leading, Owen Tangabelu second. From the Campos trio, Valentin Klus, Noah Lal and Michael Shin. Jose Garfias in 6th position for Santalok. Suleiman Zanfari, P7 for Campos. Then comes the MP quartet. Emma Fittipaldi Jr., Bruno Del Pino, Javier Segreira and Dario Cabanelas. Nicolas Soloff is 12th, then Theo Jensen, then Dan Nogales, Joao Diaz, Garrett Berry, Luciano Morano, Diego De La Torre, Isaac Barashi, Georgi Janavsky, Nick Gilks, who clearly is going to be under some pressure for the rest of this race, and Gaspard Lagaye. Retirements, Alex Abkasava, and then a non-start for Victoria Blokina, who apparently has got going again, done the first 2 laps and then pulled in to retire. Finley Green, oh no, sorry, she had her spin, didn't she, Victoria Blokina? She went out on lap 3, my apologies. Non-starts for Finley Green and Amélie de Hurst. And now we're going to restart. Here we go. Back to racing situation once more. So again, it comes down to Christian Ho to time this restart. Owen Tangavelu has already been caught out by him once. He doesn't want to do it again, as we watch Jose Garfias working his way up the climb of the final part of this crest. It's kind of a faster, wider, more open version of Jarama, this circuit. A lot of climbs and peaks and troughs that drivers can drop down. So Christian Ho just trying to time this restart from Owen Tangavelu, with Valentin Klus right in behind. Noah Lal and Michael Shin want to get a good restart as well. So when is Christian Ho going to drop the hammer? Owen Tangavelu ready for it. Now they're going to go for it. And Tangavelu, I think, was ready for that a little bit more than last time. But still, the momentum is with Christian Ho being the one to accelerate first. Valentin Klus has a good run on Tangavelu, though, out of the final turn. So this could put him up into 2nd place. It's green, 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 green here at Portimao. 10 minutes left of racing, plus 1 lap. Klus is going to make the bid on Tangavelu. He's got a fantastic run as they run down to the first corner. And Valentin Klus has gone into 2nd place. Great move from the German. Tangavelu is going to have to work hard to get back in front of him. And again, immediate defensive tactics from Klus. It's Campos 1-2 as Christian Ho runs ahead of Valentin Klus and Tangavelu. Then it is Lyle, Shin, Garfias, Zanfari, Fittipaldi, Del Pino and Segreira. And there's more contact between Drivex cars. I can't believe it. A second time of asking as around goes the GRS car. That is Isaac Barashi. But the Drivex cars tripping over each other again. Gaspard Lagaye, Nick Gilks and Georgi Janavsky. At least it looks as though Isaac Barashi has managed to get the car started again. But clearly the drivers at Drivex need a talking to at the end of this race, as there is a little bit of civil war going on within that team. Not once in this race, but twice. So Ho, Klus, Tangavelu, Noah Lal and Michael Shin. And that is, I'm afraid, a stationary Isaac Barashi. He's not been able to get the car moving again. And that is going to bring out a safety car one more time. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. And a very unhappy Isaac Barashi trying desperately to get the car to move. Oh, and now he has moved it. Yeah, but now you've got to drive through a gravel trap. Come on, keep your foot in. Keep your foot in. Get it going, get it going. Good lad. Well done, Isaac. Excellent recovery from Isaac Barashi under the circumstances. So the safety car has already been called, but at least that means it's probably only going to be out for a lap. Well, let's have another look at the restart. Good moves off the line then from Christian Ho. Tankavelu well and truly fought out there, and not only by Christian Ho, but also by Valentin Klus. So now it's a Campos 1-2. And then let's look back in the pack at that turn 3 incident. There you go, Drivex cars tripping over each other again, and Isaac Barashi, the car that's ended up spun out at the third corner. I don't know whether he was the instigator or the innocent victim, but certainly a very tough moment. At least he was able to get the car restarted, so we're not going to be behind the safety car for long. As into the pits with damage comes the very unhappy Georgi Żurawski. So at least it's not Nick Gilks who's in the wars on this particular occasion. Front nose change. But clearly the debrief at Drivex is going to be heated between their drivers, because they're obviously not able to run cleanly side by side. Off goes Georgi Żurawski. He'll take up his position at the back of the field. And I think Isaac Barashi might actually be able to overtake him before they restart. So at least Barashi was able to keep his foot in. So we've had a question come in on the live stream. What kind of engine is it that these guys race? Well, they have the Autotechnica prepared Alfa Romeo unit, 270 brake horsepower. It's a pretty reliable and trusty engine at the best of times, and it's certainly good for giving us great racing. There's Isaac Barashi, who gets to have the thrill of going wheel to wheel with Georgi Żurawski all over again on the restart. Probably not what he wanted, to be honest. Let's see how we go again on the restart. And because the incident that brought out the safety car was self-cleared by Isaac Barashi, he's clearly been to a Manchester canteen. He knows what self-clear is all about. And as they climb up the ranks of the mountain here, they're going to try and have a restart that should be fairly rapid. Thanks to that car being moved. Are we going to go safety car in this lap? They're leaving it pretty late if they are. I wonder if they just want to clear that gravel that got deposited on the road. As a result, no, safety car is in this lap. They're going to leave the call very late indeed. Well, this could make things interesting. They get the message. The safety car is in this lap, so Christian Ho backs them up at the top of the crest. But this is very late. It's a late call for a restart, and I think it's the right one. But because they've left it very late, this could catch out a few drivers in the mid-pack. So Ho and Klus backing up the pack. The good news is that Christian Ho is very well known now for leaving it late to get the restart. It's a little bit of a swing. Now he goes for it, boots the throttle. Valentin Klus goes with him in second place. And watch for Noah Lyle and Michael Shin. They're going to try and edge Owen Tankavelu off the podium and make it a Campos 1-2-3 in the second race of the weekend. They come up over the top of the crest on the restart. 5 minutes and 18. It's green, 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 green. And watch out, Owen. Here comes Noah Lyle. And Michael Shin could go with him. Noah Lyle going to go wheel to wheel with Tankavelu to the first corner. Is it going to be a Campos Racing 1-2-3? Not if Tankavelu's got anything to say about it. And they collide. Tankavelu goes up in the air with one wheel. He's kept it going. And it looks as though Noah Lyle is going to get through to third. He does it. So it's Campos 1, 2 and 3. Great work from Noah Lyle. Really had to force the issue there on Owen Tankavelu. And so it's now Christian Ho leading. Valentin Klus second. Noah Lyle third. Tankavelu is not happy. He wants to go right round the outside of Noah Lyle to get to third position. They both drift off the road. Fortunately for Campos, they've got another man waiting in the wings. It's Michael Shin. And so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for Campos. And off the road, another retirement. That is Joao Diaz for the DXR team. Are we going to get yet another safety car at turn 2? As Joao Diaz has gone clean off the road at the second corner there into the gravel trap. But it's not particularly far in. I worry that that's going to be another safety car, and it is. Well, if you are Campos Racing fans, you have definitely got Christmas come early now. Owen Tankavelu is down in 5th position. is not particularly happy with the fact he's got a quartet of white and black machines in front of him. And it's Campos, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wow, fascinating stuff. And there's obviously going to be an interesting discussion about that little battle between Noah Lyle and Owen Tangavelu. People are going to say, well, Tangavelu didn't back out of the move and Noah Lyle committed to his move on the inside line. Others are going to say Noah Lyle essentially forced Owen Tangavelu off the race circuit. Whichever way you look at it, whatever your stance is, you've got Campos racing cars now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Christian Ho leads Valentin Klus, Noah Lyle, and Michael Shin. And after the dominant form of MP Motorsport in the first part of the season in EUROCUP-3, Campos Racing have responded. And not only that, but they've got a fifth car, would you believe, in 6th position. So if Owen Tangavelu is not careful, then the Campos Racing team could end up with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is completely unprecedented. And that's all based on the fact that Suleiman Zanfari got an excellent restart there and managed to get past Jose Garfias, unseen by the cameras, but he got through. Let's look at this incident again. Lyle, Tangavelu keeping his foot in. Lyle not surrendering the corner on either occasion. Look at this. Wow, fascinating. And Tangavelu actually ending up in the gravel as a result of that. Well, it's not just once, but twice that Lyle and Tangavelu go wheel to wheel. Lyle not prepared to be pushed around. In fact, he gets his elbows out himself. It's very interesting stuff. So again, it's all going to be about a debate as to who is at fault there and who is the kind of guy who will accept defeat in that one. Tangavelu had no choice but to back down from it. If he's not careful, if this race restarts, he could end up being swamped by the other Campos of Suleiman Zanfari. He's going to have night terrors when he goes to bed tonight. Every time he's going to have 30 winks, he's going to fall asleep and dream that another Campos has got past him, and then another Campos has got past him, and then another Campos has got past him. Not the situation Tangavelu wanted at all. So where we're up to at the moment, we've got Abkasava, Diaz and Blokina out of the race. A DXR, a Santalok and a Drivex. 21 drivers still running in the race. The top 10 looks like this. Campos 1, 2, 3 and 4 for Christian Ho, Valentin Klus, Noah Lyle and Michael Shin. Tangavelu in the MP, Zanfari in the other Campos. And then we've got Jose Garfias in the Santalok. The final 3 points paying positions currently looking like going to Emo Fittipaldi Jr., Bruno Del Pino and Javier Segrera. And that's really going to shake out the championship battle, as we're still under safety car proceedings here. We're going to run out of time on this lap, but depending on how quickly they can get the DXR of Joao Diaz's car removed from turn 2. Let's look at this again. This is the second incident of Lyle and Tangavelu. Well, that's marginal. That's marginal as to whether Lyle has actually pushed Tangavelu off the road or whether Tangavelu has essentially gone so far to the right that he's ended up in the gravel, because he could have actually avoided that. There was a little bit of distance there, so he could have gone a little bit more tighter on the radius and kept himself out of the gravel. So that will be discussed, I'm sure. But it's interesting that the race control has pointed out that car 2 and 84, that is Lyle and Tangavelu, the incident at turn 5 is noted. So that could end up being a very interesting discussion. Right, the safety team have got rid of Joao Diaz's car. We've run out of time, but the good news is that you have half an hour plus the additional bonus lap. So that bonus lap, I think, is going to give us a green flag finish. We wait for confirmation, but the safety team have got rid of Joao Diaz's DXR from the scene. We've just got to wait for the safety car to go up the hill, drop down again, and then come back up. And we know how late a call they can make it for a safety car in this lap. So let's hope that in the next 10 seconds or so, we get that confirmation. Are we going to have a green flag restart for the final lap? The answer is doubtful. It's a very late call if it's going to be a call, and I think we've run out of time to get it. Well, there's no call. The safety car is still out. I don't think they managed to get to their safety positions in time. Race will finish under safety car procedure. Well, Campos Racing will be absolutely delighted. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, it's unfortunate, and I know you're all frustrated, but what a magnificent opportunity this is for Christian Ho after the misery of Spa, the destitution of the last round of the championship at the Red Bull Ring. Finally, he gets his opportunity. And he has managed to take a win, not once, but twice. Singapore will be absolutely ecstatic with that. And this fantastic young talent who I first came across at a very exciting Miami Asia Cup race back in 2020 in the karting world, on the karting circuit round the back of Sepang in Malaysia. And he's been quite the fighter, quite the extraordinary talent ever since then. Worked his way through to the European karting scene, came under the tutelage of the Sauber Academy, and has been a serial race winner in European competition. And now stepped up to the world of Spanish F4 last year, was a great race winner, second in the final championship standings, stepped up to EUROCUP-3 this year, knew it was going to be a tough transition, but finally he's figured out how to win, and he's like a hungry man who's figured out how to get into the fridge. Now that he knows what to do, you're never going to stop him soaking up the goodies. Christian Ho coming through under safety car procedure to take his second win. Valentin Klus in second place. Noah Lyle provisionally third, although the investigation between him and Owen Tangavelu is going to happen. And that could promote his teammate Michael Shin onto the podium in fourth place. So whichever way you look at it, it's going to be a Campos Racing blitz of this podium, just as MP Motorsport have already managed to achieve this season. So Campos Racing have taken their revenge with relish. The safety car will come in, but they will not get an overtaking move in because they're not allowed to. So Christian Ho just going through the motions here with his team. It's going to be a 1, 2, 3. In fact, it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't see that very often, even in single-seaters at this level. So this is a very special moment for the Campos Racing team. Keep an eye on their social media. They're going to take full advantage of this, I'm sure, as Christian Ho comes out of the final turn, leading home Valentin Klus, Noah Lyle and Michael Shin. And for the second time this weekend, the second time this season, Christian Ho takes the checkered flag here at Portimao, ahead of Valentin Klus and Noah Lyle for an all-Campos Racing podium. What a fabulous performance from Christian Ho. And his potential really is starting to rise to prominence now. This young lad has definitely got something special brewing. Owen Tangavelu making a very deliberate return to the pits, not prepared to be particularly patient. He just wants to get out of the car and walk away. Not very happy to come home in 5th position after all. Look, he overtakes the Campos Racing quartet. He's made his view very clear indeed. But the Campos team will be celebrating in style. Not a bad run from Emma Fittipaldi Jr., finishing up in 7th place, scoring some decent points. Bruno Del Pino coming through in 8th place, Javier Segrera coming through in 9th place, and Nicolas Soloff in 10th. So hang on a minute, somebody has not come through at all in the points. It's Dario Cabanelas. So Dario Cabanelas has not had a decent restart. In fact, he seems to have had a mechanical problem and cruised across the line in 21st place. So Dario Cabanelas falls out of the points on the last lap. And that has given Fittipaldi 7th, Del Pino 8th, Segrera 9th, and Nicolas Soloff P10. So very unfortunate then for Dario Cabanelas. So very tricky situation. Well, we'll have to see what the outcome is then of these investigations. Race Control have already made it very clear that they're going to investigate several incidents. I'm sure they'll talk about Noah Lyle versus Owen Tangavelu. They battled twice on the course. Tangavelu running out onto the gravel trap, and that was enough to allow Michael Shin to skate through. So the Korean may well end up with 3rd position as a result of that, if a penalty were to be handed to Noah Lyle. We don't know about that yet, but certainly for Campos Racing, whatever happens, they're going to have a 1, 2, 3 of the podium. And it's very good news indeed for the team that were getting demoralised by MP Motorsport, cleaning up every weekend, every race. MP Motorsport, another win, another win, another win. We come to Portugal, and finally the deadlock is broken. Campos Racing have hit back masterfully. And for the second time this weekend, it's the Singaporean Christian Ho on the top step of the podium. From Miami Series Asia to the Miami European paddocks, to the FIA Karting European and World Championships, to Spanish F4, to a winner in EUROCUP-3. The rise of Christian Ho to prominence in motorsport is inevitable. What a great performer. Singapore has waited a long time for a star racing driver to emerge. Considering their first Formula One Grand Prix back in 2008, it's been 16 years now, and here is Christian Ho, ready to take them all the way to Formula One. What if it happens? Let's hear from the man himself, Christian Ho. Enzo Oliveira is going to get the first word with our superstar, Christian Ho. I think he'll want to take his helmet off first. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a tricky interview for Enzo Oliveira. But I tell you what, he's a very happy man. He's a lovely chap, Christian Ho, as Enzo Oliveira is about to find out.
Yes, Jake Sanson, we are here with the winner, Christian Ho. So what a weekend, eh? What a weekend. Congratulations.
Yeah, not bad race. Still one more to go, obviously, and I want to complete everything. I think now we are close to P1 in the championship now. I think I'm second or third, I don't remember. But I want to come off this race. I think we got a 1-2-3 as a team, so it's mega. Finally, the first 1-2-3 in EuroCup-3 for Campos. And yeah, for me, the race was pretty. I think we had like 4 safety cars. It's quite boring, but yeah, I had a good start. Overtook Valentin, and then after that was just keeping the pace. And I think we had mega pace this week, so yeah, looking forward to the last race. Yeah.
So tell me, it was really eventful race today, and when you prepared this overtaking, because it was really nice, you know, the style of this overtaking. So tell me, when you find the moment, the exactly moment to do it.
No, I mean,
to take the first place.
I mean, it was at the start. I had a better start than him, and then it was just side by side into T1. And when you're on the outside, it's pretty hard to go around the outside. And I covered that off, and after that, I was just managing the race, like I said, and that's all. Yeah.
It's about the team also, because it's complete podium. So I want to show, because it's completely podium, absolutely for Campos Racing. So what means for you and for the team?
It means that we did a great job preparing for this weekend. I think the MPs at 1, 2, 3.
Together, come on. Last question, because it's not about the driver, it's about the team. So what means for you and for the team, Campos Racing, to have complete podium today?
It means a lot. It's good that we can fight back after MP3 scored a couple of 1-2-3s, and now we're back. And yeah, we hope to keep this momentum, and yeah, let's just continue like this.
Pole position and now podiums, perfect.
Yeah, really good race. I missed it at the start a bit, but after it was fine. Just a lot of safety cars, which made the race a bit boring. But yeah, it was fine, it was good.
What a weekend for Campos Racing.
Yes, for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye. Jake Sanson, of course. And Lyle, Noah. Yeah. Last question for Noah Lyle, because we were speaking about the podium. So in third position, we have all Campos Racing here. So Noah, what it means for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty rough start to the season, so it's nice to finally get things going a bit, to be honest. First strong result of the year. Yeah, hopefully we can keep this momentum and have some more in the coming rounds.
Because it's mean not about all the drivers, it's like work together, no? As a team. So what it means for Campos Racing, this podium?
Yeah, again, a tough start to the year for the team, so a great result for them. Top 4 cars, all Campos, so yeah, really happy.
Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jake, see you soon.
Thank you very much, Enzo Oliveira. It's a big moment for Campos Racing. Looks like we've got our very own El Clasico here in EuroCup-3. It's Real Madrid versus Barcelona with horsepower. Campos Racing versus MP Motorsport. The battle is raging in EuroCup-3. And what a fantastic race for Christian Ho. His second race victory in EuroCup-3 in 2024 and the 7th this weekend. After the fabulous rise to prominence of Guan Yu Zhou after the first Chinese Grand Prix several years ago, it looks like we're having a similar story from the Singapore Grand Prix to a Singapore single-seater hotshot. Christian Ho is becoming a big name very quickly in 2024, how many years till we see him in Formula One? We have one race to go here in EuroCup-3 at Portimao. Join us for that later on today as we have race 3 not far round the bend.